Welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downing. Today's show sponsored by True Classic. I'm rocking one of their polos, and you should too. Plus, it is the perfect Father's Day gift. Don't go back to getting your dad the tie that he doesn't want and or will never wear. So get 25% off your order by using promo code CHAT at trueclassic.com/chat. More on them later on in today's show. Remember the links in the comments section and the description, of course. We begin, though, with some Dak Prescott conversation. So Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk, explored some of the Cowboys' options here with Dak Prescott moving forward. Now, I have been plenty critical in the past of Mike Florio and what he writes and some of the clickbaiting that he does. Is, you know, that's how media tends to work. I would say the actual Florio article is not nearly as bad or crazy as what it might have been suggested by others on social media. It was really just an overarching view of where the contract status sits with Dak Prescott and some of the pros and cons of paying Dak. So I do want to look at what Florio actually wrote, because one part of it I think got more attention than the other, even though I think the first part was used as the segue into some part. So allow me to explain. Here's what Florio wrote. For the Cowboys, the question becomes whether at some point they should just start over. Draft a new quarterback. Find a veteran starter. What do they have to do to stop the funhouse or to become zero fun, sir, for the team? That is the part that got a lot of the play. Then there was this other part. Dak is currently not one of the shortlist franchise quarterbacks. He's just not. He's never seen an NFC Championship game. He seems to have slipped a bit in 2022. And I think by that, the shortlist for Florio is like 5 players. Which, yeah, I think if we're deciding it that way, we're on board with. That makes now a great time to extend the deal. Prescott might not expect to become the highest paid player in football. If he reestablishes himself as a top 5 guy in 2023, he will. So what Florio actually did here was look at the two options. Move on or pay him. What you don't want to do is continue to just let things ride out and not be aggressive. You either dump Dak Prescott and frankly rebuild or try to build around a cheap young quarterback, but look got some money you're going to be paying Dak there, or pay him and build up the roster. Plus, by the way, if you extend Dak Prescott, you'll actually save salary cap space in the short term because you'll do the smart thing and structure the deal in the way you're supposed to. So if we're defining the franchise quarterback in that top 5 mold, then yeah, I don't think any of us are really going to put Dak in the top 5. Certainly not in the top 3 or whatever conversation. But there's that 6 to 11 range that is inherently and immensely valuable. We'll go more in depth on that. But I think we know enough about what the Cowboys are, what Dak Prescott is, to answer this question. Do you want to extend Dak Prescott? Why for yes and for no? This will be today's pinned comment. So if an ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down to that pinned comment and let me know why for yes and for no. I would rank Dak in that top 10 quarterback range. Now, every year there are some quarterbacks who, flow in, flow out. To the point where Deshaun Watson was a top 10 quarterback. Then all of a sudden, he's not a top 10 quarterback anymore. And Dak has kind of consistently been in that range. Now, if you want more, if you want to gamble and risk and try to find that, top 5 guy, that Burrow, that Mahomes, that Allen-esque quarterback, okay, I can at least understand where you're going. What you don't want to do, frankly, is do what you did last time. Sit around, say, let's see what happens. Let's drag our feet. Let's not be proactive. Because when you're not proactive, what ends up happening is the market sets you. The Cowboys, they don't want to set the market, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, you would rather do that than allow the market to set you and frankly get bent over, just like the Dak Prescott did with the Cowboys. He did. He's got a no-trade clause, can't be franchised out. Like, he won that deal because the Cowboys didn't show urgency. You know what you have. Either move on and rebuild a little bit, tank a bit, frankly, or pay him, keep the cap hit low, build the roster around him, and then when he's old, dump him and embrace the dudes you think at that point. Those should be your moves from that perspective. Now, speaking of building, make sure you build out your wardrobe for yourself and for your dad. Father's Day is just around the corner, so get him a gift that your dad will actually love. Give him the gift of style and comfort with True Classic. Their ultra soft, perfectly fitted tees are just the beginning. True Classic has everything you need to complete your wardrobe, from Henleys to polos to comfort jeans, chinos. they have you covered, plus an active line of shorts, shirts, and joggers. Perfect for whatever you're doing, working out and about, whatever it is, they have you covered. And if you're not satisfied with the purchase, they offer you a 100% risk-free guarantee and easy returns. Use promo code CHAT, C-H-A-T, at trueclassic.com/chat to get 25% off your order plus free shipping on purchases over $100. I don't think anyone here has actually got, maybe you're an overachiever, which is great, but who here has actually got their dad their Father's Day gift yet? I know I have not. Well, at least I'm going to get that changed tonight when I go over to True Classic Tees and getting him some activewear and some polos as well for work. Give your dad a gift that they will actually love this Father's Day with True Classic. 25% off your order with promo code CHAT, C-H-A-T, at trueclassic.com/chat. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. Let's move to the juicy general NFL rumor out there. DeAndre Hopkins. Look, before some of the comments made today, which we'll get to, Pro Football Talk also the possibility of could the Cardinals cut DeAndre Hopkins. Now, the Dak one was a bit a better one. This one was a little bit heavy on the speculation side that, Florio tends to do, which is fine. It's fine. I will make note, Hopkins, to the surprise of nobody, not present at Cardinals OTAs. Isn't a huge surprise there. And the Cardinals could save about $19.5 million this year if they made Hopkins a post-June 1st cut. If we believe the Cardinals, they had interest in Hopkins, but no one met their trade offer. So it's getting nothing back and then cutting him, I think would be a pretty big disappointment for Arizona, but they certainly are rebuilding. Now, Hopkins said this today about what he wants in his team or next team. What I want is stable management upstairs. Something I haven't really had the past couple years of my career coming from Houston and then to Arizona. A quarterback who loves the game, who brings everybody on board with him, not just himself, but everyone around him, and a great defense. A great defense wins championships. Isn't that the Cowboys? Now, there are many teams that fit that mold, but the Cowboys can fit. You're shaking your head. Cowboys, for all we give grief about Jerry and Steven, they are by definition stable because they're not shuffling out the GM and head coach every single year, every 3 years. They do have a top 10 quarterback, and, let's be honest, Dak's better than Kyler. Dak is better than the hodgepodge of quarterbacks that Hopkins just went through the past couple of years in Arizona, and they have the defense. The problem is the money. That's always the rub with the Joneses, isn't it? Here's what Hopkins is owed if he's traded. Now, I know there's been reports that Hopkins would adjust the number and wouldn't be the highest paid receiver. I don't necessarily think he's taking an actual pay cut. I think that's kind of been distorted from report of Hopkins would do that to Hopkins said he would do it going for the Cowboys. It's not what he said. But even if he gets the open market free agency-wise, wouldn't a team like Houston themselves throw big bucks at him? There are plenty of teams in the market for wide receiver help still, like the Panthers, who would love to throw money at Hopkins and help out their young quarterback, probably a bit more than what the Cowboys would be willing to do. So what is the percent chance you think that Dallas ends up getting DeAndre Hopkins? Sound off in the comments section. I think the number's low. I don't think it should be a high figure, but let me know what the percent chance you think that Dallas ends up getting DeAndre Hopkins. I am of the mindset that, look, the Cowboys have not shown much interest. They have not shown a desire to throw a bunch of money towards DeAndre Hopkins. And that was when he was available via trade. Everyone knew that part. He's been available for months now. The fact that no one has bit yet, I think should be a red flag. And given the contractual issues, I'd say your percent chance is maybe 5-10%. With that said, it'd be fun to see DeAndre Hopkins, right? Lamb, Cooks, Gallup, and Hopkins. There's your insurance, massive, premium cost, make no mistake, in the event that Gallup isn't that good, that Tolbert continues to not be a piece in the NFL. That is where we're at. So the receiving room is it's fine up top. It's a little bit thin, though, with proven, reliable talent. So, I would have interest. Something tells me he ends up somewhere other than in Dallas. Now, if you want daily Cowboys news, rumors, everything else in between, then you should subscribe to us here at the Cowboys Report. That's exactly what we give you guys. Free videos every single day. Make sure you are subscribed at youtube.com/CowboysTV. a interesting idea, and I'll emphasize interesting there. Blog and the Boys argued 3 reasons the Cowboys could consider signing Carson Wentz. We'll break down the reasons here in a little bit. Background is Carson Wentz remains unsigned, and there have been very few reports of teams showing interest in the former Florio was going to win NFL MVP and, was at one point viewed as a top 5 quarterback and then really fell off pretty quick towards the end in Philadelphia and in his time in Washington and Indy, etc. there. I will make note, NFL changed the rules today. The third quarterback won't count against the game day roster, but could play if they are on the 53s, if there are a bunch of injuries. So keep that in mind. Here is there were the 3 reasons from Blog and the Boys. NFC East familiarity. Okay. Talent. Former talent, maybe is a better way to go about that. And also, the argument was Mike McCarthy, because he likes gunslingers in his past, and that's Wentz apparently. I have thoughts here, but I want to hear from you guys first. Would you sign Carson Wentz to the Dallas Cowboys? Assume it's a 1-year cheap deal with little to no guaranteed money. Even then, does that interest you? S for sign, P for pass. Go ahead and sound off for me in the comment section right now. I'm not that interested in Carson Wentz, frankly, because he's not that good. He'd be at best quarterback 3, because Jeremy's favorite quarterback, Cooper Rush, I think he's better than Wentz right now. Also, we've hit our quota for Cowboys backup ginger quarterbacks. Cooper Rush fills that role. Now, if you didn't have Rush, maybe they would have looked towards Carson Wentz in the end. Here's my issue. He hasn't been good for a while. Even the numbers in 2021, they look fine, but there were a lot more turnover-worthy plays that would have been a big-time red flag there. Wentz he's just not good anymore. And given the way he kind of had some issues in Indy and Philadelphia down the stretch, and I don't know if there's glowing reviews about him being willing to be a backup quarterback, maybe he doesn't make sense at that stage as what would be a quarterback 3. Maybe you'd go in a younger, maybe just roll with Will Greer because it's cheaper and he fits your quarterback room. So all those reasons, I'm out on Carson Wentz. And before we go, we did promise a shout to the person who comments the most on a previous video, and the Rebel Hawk blew everybody out of the water. 604 comments. So shout out to you, the Rebel Hawk. Big ups and appreciation from us here at the Cowboys Report.